this is your first time seeing one of my videos. So in the previous video, felt pretty blissful and awesome, and now not so much. I have a lot of shadow work to do, which sucks. But that's just how it is. The person that came here, who we kind of hit it off and had a good time hiking together and just felt like I could be myself and they were themselves. Turns out, at least from the way they were texting me, they seemed like they wanted more of a romantic or more intimate connection than I could offer, so that I had to tell them that I was feeling too vulnerable to hang out with them at this time, and for that reason. And that was really hard for me because in the past, well, as a kid, I don't think I ever learned that saying no is okay. My mom was in several different very abusive relationships, and I saw what happened to her when she said no, and yeah, I don't think I ever saw that you could say no to people, at least in that kind of way. So yeah, and as I've been learning to say no, I've had, I've been harassed, I've been assaulted, I've even been stalked after trying or after leaving a relationship. So saying no brings up a bunch of fears in me for that reason, and also because that connection that I felt with this person just felt so genuine and easy, and it bummed me out that that it seemed like they had this idea of who I was just after one day of spending time together, and I just felt like I was being put into a box, and it kind of, had me thinking, like, is anyone ever gonna just let me be me? Which is so silly, because I suppose even I had this idea of the connection too. Like, I thought that, it was gonna be something easy and pure. So I can even see how my own ego was forming ideas around it. So that's humbling. But yeah, so that happened, and also if you look at numbers, it's just like my financial stability appears to be not doing very well. And so when I go and pay a bill, it's just feel like this impending doom. Just this fear of failure. And I quit my job, which made decent, it allowed me to be very independent in order to be, because of this Kundalini awakening, and I was being guided to spend more time doing, introspection and to heal as I was purging a lot of shit out. And my job wasn't for me. It's like, so if it's not for you, you just, with the Kundalini awakening, you just release what is not for you anymore. So that's been hard. I mean, I got a job the day I turned 16, the legal working age, and I was walking to work. So, and you know, there are so many hard workers in my family, and it just feels like I'm not working hard, even though I am. Just, it's different. It doesn't look like what I grew up seeing as hard work. Anyway, so a lot of my process is just having faith that I'm doing, well, I say like the right thing, but I don't know. Having faith that staying true to yourself is what is I'm like meant to do, and that my external world will show me that that's what I'm supposed to be doing too. I guess it's how I am living my life right now. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about ghosts. I mentioned that there's a ghost here in the previous video. And yeah, with me just going through my own stuff right now, I'm pretty sensitive to these kind of energies. Looking back, I always was, but since my awakening, I'm much more so. I don't want to call myself an empath because that word made me cringe. Same with words like star seeds, or still don't know what that means, but I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that because what do I know? Yeah, so I wasn't feeling bad and I wanted to do some shadow work and meditate. And I had my light on in my bedroom or the loft. I don't know. This used to be a small barn that was renovated into a studio, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I could see the light on over there. And almost immediately, at once I started meditating, which has been, I felt the energy very internally. Sometimes I have a lot of outward kriyas, but a lot of it has been, I've been focusing more on my spine. And so a lot of my energy has been like inward. I don't know how to explain it. But so I was meditating, and then there's this shift in energy. It's like similar to like switching the channel on the TV, and like you just feel like a different kind of very high-pitched static, if you can hear really high-pitched noises. And there was a lot of movement over there. And the light started flickering my lamp, like on and off. And like there's banging, and pretty obvious that energy was like there. And I say ghosts, but part of it could also just be my own demons coming out to play, not necessarily like the ghost that lives here. If you kind of know what I mean, because with the shadow work, there's a lot of like beliefs and repressed emotions, and that resonates with whatever is around. Like that's also at that same level, I guess, for lack of a better word. So that started happening, and my kriya, my eyes just like shifted over, and I had like a half smile, like, I don't know, but just staring at it. And I just had this wave of really intense fear come over me. And I was still surrendering, or so I thought, but it was just like I was so hot, and then suddenly I was just sweating, and I could only hear like my breath, which was started being extremely shallow, and then my heart. And finally, after a moment or two of that, I was like, remember to surrender and to have faith. And once I thought that and like had that release of surrendering more, my eyes came back, and I just instantly felt better. So I don't know if that was like a true spontaneous Kriya. And I'm also questioning, and I'm talking about looking over there in the half smile, but I don't really like it when people talk about what's a real spontaneous Kriya versus something else, like what's spiritual possession versus, because in my opinion, like most people on earth are possessed. The way out is to, own your mind and not let the mind own you, like through the ego. Or I also still have trouble differing the ego and the mind, but because the mind is our tool, the ego is a tool, but the ego gets attached to these, ideas and forms identities, and then you have these emotions like fear come up, and that influences what you do, although it's not the real you. So yeah, but I guess that's kind of related, but not exactly what I'm talking about right now. Which is why I have a list. Yeah, one side that I don't look at. Once I look forward, I saw it, which is, I don't recall ever seeing a ghost so clearly, and it's not like I saw a person standing there, so maybe, but I saw the energy, and I guess I don't quite know how to describe it, but it was there, and then like it came at me, like flew at me. And the whole time I'm just like having faith and surrendering. And I didn't feel as scared during that part. I felt much more scared once I saw the light flickering and the noises, because it was like it knew that I was here to delve into the deeper parts of myself. So it was like, oh, well, let's see how well you do with this. But that's exactly what I asked for. In the end, like, everything is me, right? So, yeah. So I had that experience. And then even after that, like, I was still scared. And I felt like poop. I was very tired. And the dog that I'm borrowing, Rosie, I was letting her sleep here, and I ended up just passing out here. So now I'll bring out my list. Ghosts, demons, and spiritual possession. Yeah, like, even that guy who I let down, when he starts having these beliefs, forming beliefs around who I am and what I have to offer, isn't that, and then acting on it, isn't that spiritual possession? I don't know. And the other thing is, why do I expect everything, everyone, and myself to be so perfect before I'm allowed to interact with it? That's another thing. And which brings me back to a previous video where I was talking about protecting myself, which is a huge lesson that I'm learning now, is Um, for example, in the past, my mom was terrified of spiders. So I grew up thinking that spiders were super evil, as well as snakes. And now, I don't really mess with spiders. There's so many here. They're everywhere. And when I first moved in, I was vacuuming all the webs up, and now it's just as long as I don't mess with them, they don't mess with me, right? And I want to extend that to everything. I'm certainly capable of protecting myself, so what is my problem with allowing other people to be imperfect? I don't know. Some things I need to delve more into. I think part of it is I would shame myself for being afraid when I was a kid, or even up until now. It's I wanted to avoid being afraid of things at all costs. Being afraid was not good. It's scary. And so why would I want to sit in fear? And now I'm learning that I'm allowed to be afraid, because it's not, fear doesn't hurt me. It's certainly sometimes fear is very useful, but I think in growing up, I just learned that people hurt you and you should be afraid of people. So don't be around people. And yeah, that's a whole lesson for me. Having faith that my world wants me to exist and supports me as I'm part of this healing. Eventually the word healing is gonna make me it almost makes me cringe now. It's why should have a better word for it? But whatever, that's what it is, right? Yeah, just developing faith that the world is a safe place, that I'm safe. That's another huge lesson. And I don't have to figure it out, because that's not faith. I don't have to look into everyone's soul before I am willing to give them my time. Just knowing that everyone is imperfect and that they're seeing the world through their own lens, and that doesn't mean that they're dangerous for me. And having faith in myself to know when danger is really present. Yeah. I thought I'd have more to say about that, but now I'm kind of at a blank. I don't know. I'll try. Maybe I don't know what shadow work really is, but last night I was sitting there, and almost when it got really scary, I never thought fear is okay. I was thinking just bring compassion and love. Remember those parts. I'm not sure if that's bypassing though. Maybe it is. But maybe it was just a step in the right direction. But this time in the future, maybe tonight, I'll be scared and remember that it's okay to be afraid. And see what happens. Yep, that's all I have to say for now. I think. Yeah. Alright. See you later.